hopefully it's all good. So just for the few people, Grandma Sparky and Tim, you haven't been here before, so I'll just say a quick hello. My name is Sarah. I'm originally Lebanese. I live in Canada, but now I'm in Dubai. I've been here for a few months visiting my nephews and my family, and reworking my business models, or trying to think of doing different things in my life. I've been doing operations for the past 10 plus years overall, I guess, mainly in the pharmaceutical pharmacy business world. But I'm sort of kind of shifting away from that a little bit, trying to do something that aligns a little bit more with my values, something that aligns more with my heart. So my first gratitude for today, which is really something I'm terrible at speaking about personal things, but I will just do this one only. The only time I'll do it is for gratitude. Is I'm super grateful for my partner. He's still in Canada, and he has been a champ about me being far for the past 3 months. And he's a pharmacist. And funny enough, last night at midnight, I told him I wasn't feeling too well, so he left home and went to the pharmacy to write me a prescription and send it to me. And he's just that guy. He's so great, and I'm super grateful for him. So that's my gratitude to him. My aim for this week is to um, be a kinder friend without feeling like I need to fix situations. I got my best friend, her boyfriend just broke up with her, and I love her so much, and I'm trying to fix the situation, but I know I shouldn't. So I'm just like trying to say the nice words for her, to so she knows that she's loved and she's worthy, and that that doesn't, determine her worth by any means. So I'm just trying to focus a little bit more on that. My goal and my challenge are one of the same for this week, and it is to find an illustrator for my kids' book. I have a pretty clear idea in my mind of what I like and what I don't like. I have a pretty clear idea in my mind of what I want my characters to look like and the scenery and everything. I just don't know how to draw. So I need somebody to translate those thoughts into something pretty. So those are both my goal and my challenge. My ask is that after I do the hot seat today, I ask you to please give me your most honest feedback. This is what I'm looking for. So honest, raw feedback. I'm looking to start this new kind of, I guess, venture into kids' books, and I'll speak about it more when I'm in the hot seat, so as to not take more time out of my 5 minutes. But so yeah, just give me any feedback that pops in your mind, even if you think it's a bad idea, or not a bad idea. If you think I should, take it a different way, or if you totally disagree with something that I say, please tell me. And I think that's the best way I can take this forward and improve with it. So thank you very much.
Sarah, you still have 75 seconds.
I know, but I'm gonna cough, so I'm just gonna mute it.
I have an artist doing my children's book. That's great. If you'd like, I'll send you that information.
Oh, that's awesome, Grandma Sparky. Thank you. I saw somebody throw something in the chat too, so I'll check that out.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. How to do that.
And Sparks, I know you're new to this, but we don't jump in during this time, but we will have a chance to later. So, all right, let's kick it off to Timmy. What's up, Timmy?
Hey everybody, how's it going? Okay, so let me make sure that I've got my notes from the text that you sent me, Ryan. So, short introduction. I'm Timmy. I run a kids book production company called Dinosaur House. Our thing is we turn industry leaders into kids book authors. I'm also the author of a bunch of kids books, so I've done a few bestsellers. The most recent bestseller is a book called I Want to Be a Nurse When I Grow Up that I wrote with a nurse influencer, and it was probably the best-selling kids book on Amazon for 6 days, and that's not within a category that's like bestseller overall. But I can't really take credit for that because that was mostly Blake's fame that did that. But I have done a few other bestsellers. Lucas the Dinosaur Entrepreneur is probably the one that I'm the most proud of. The goal of it is to teach entrepreneurship to kids. My big why is I'm trying to grow an audience of kids who are uncommon in their level of literacy and are thinking creatively about their future. So kind of everything that I do informs that mission, from what I do on YouTube and Instagram, like trying to grow an audience through shorts, and touring as a kids book author. Pre-COVID, that's how I made a full-time income, was touring as a kids book author. And then COVID hit, wiped out that source of income, and I started my company, Dinosaur House. So recent success, my wife and I, we redesigned our offer. So I'm reading Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers, right now. And our goal has been to go up market. So we've redesigned our offer. And since then, we've been attracting higher tier customers. We're really trying to go after people that have a lot of money to spend on producing their book, and the thing that they care about the most is that it's done right the first time with no headache and very minimal effort on their part. So we're trying to position ourselves as a super premium service. So I maybe I'm not super familiar with what the term stretch goal means, but one of my big goals this year is to do a lot of speaking. So last year I visited 55 elementary schools. My goal this year is to get that up to 120 elementary schools, and also do a lot of speaking for adults. I just did my first talk for adults this year last week, and it was the 7 habits of effective storytellers. So seven effective engaging storyteller habits. And it went really well. I thought I had maybe an hour's worth of material, and I ended up going for an hour and a half, and the people wanted me to keep going, so that was cool. So recent success. Oh, I said that. Okay. Number 4 challenge that I have. This is kind of unrelated, but Nicole and I are trying to buy a house this year, and that's really hard to do as a business owner. So that's a challenge that we have. An ask that I have is, well, I'm trying to figure out what's the better sounding guarantee for the offer that I'm putting together. So I've got 2 versions of it. One of them is, oh shoot, let me pull it up. Ryan, did you give me a time check? Because I've been looking at my notes. Here it comes.
90 seconds.
90 seconds. Okay, perfect. All right, so 2 versions of the offer. One of them is your next big hit, or we don't stop until it is. So then it's your next bestseller with 5 stars, loved by your audience and thousands of organic new readers. Your idea is written in your voice, 100% yours, using a minuscule amount of your time. And then the other version of it is your next big hit, or you don't pay us. So in that version, they would get a refund if we don't produce their next big hit. I'm trying to figure out what's the more attractive guarantee for the market that I'm going after. So that is an ask that I have, if anybody's got any feedback on that. Okay, lastly, gratitude. I have an amazing life. I get to do exactly the kind of work that I love to do. When I was younger, it was like just a dream that I would get to be a published children's book author. And I didn't even think that it was possible. And now it's like, things just keep getting bigger and bigger. So that's been awesome. Okay, that's me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Timmy. And now my beautiful girlfriend, for those who don't know, Katrina.
Hello, my name is Katrina. I'm originally from Russia, and then but the last 18 years I've been living in the United States. I went to college, I went to university in the United States, and then for the last 15 years I've been working in hospitality industry. I work in a luxury hospitality industry. My latest position was a guest relation manager, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt like I succeeded. I found the place at the hotel that I like, because, you know, there is a lot of departments which are very different. And I found a place where I feel happy. However, at some point I realized that life is not just about work. And I decided to move on and quit my job. And I went to modeling industry. I joined the beauty pageants, and I participated in some catwalks and lots of photo shoots. And it was just something that I used to love doing as a teenager. So I allowed myself to make my inner child happy with this thing. So I've been doing that for 6 months. And then recently I'm focusing on learning how to be a good partner and how to be more healthy, how to have more healthier skin and hair, and how to like have a peace inside of me. So my challenge, that last week I told you guys that I started to read the book, Untethered Soul, and I was supposed to finish it today. I'm almost done, so I will finish it today. However, I can't say that I'm done right now because I still have 1 hour of listening. But this book just makes me feel like I feel very connected to it, and it makes me understand a lot of things. And I feel happy that I have found this book. And I think Ryan recommended me this book, but I think Ryan got the recommendation from Sarah. So I'm grateful for this recommendation, Sarah. And so hopefully after tonight, I'll try to find some new book maybe, because I want to keep growing like inside of myself, to be more comfortable with myself and enjoy life more. And my ask would be that I want to know, like, what kind of vitamins do you guys take every day, or there is some tea you drink every day that like you think that gives you a good benefit, or like you wish you started doing that long time ago. You know, there could be anything, you know, maybe like today I went to do hair cut and they told me you can put biotin on your hair. I never thought that I can put liquid biotin in my hair, but I bought this treatment because this year I want to make my hair to be healthy, because when I was doing modeling, they burned my hair, because, you know, when you go to do like a fashion show, your hair have to look perfect and straight. So they would straighten and burn that all. So I really want to have a healthy hair, because like at the moment before this haircut, it felt like a loofah. So this is my ask, and my gratitude. My gratitude today is for my partner, for allowing me to be me, allowing me to do what I want to do. Yesterday I went on this wonderful walk. I took a train to the city that's nearby while Ryan was working. I just went and like walked by the water and enjoyed the sun. I had like a very tasty ice cream and just listened to this book with my headphones, and it was just a wonderful experience. Today I went to this hair salon. I had to walk 1 hour and 20 minutes to get there, and it was so enjoyable. And then like on the way back, there was so much sun and flowers, and again like listening to this book. This whole experience was so great. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to have these experiences. And like now that we continue our journey, we're gonna go out to Thailand, we're gonna travel different countries. That really fulfills my heart and my soul. And I'm grateful for Ryan to kind of opening these doors, because I have been traveling all my life, but it seems like since we met, we've done so much traveling, and it just feels more fun, and it feels much easier to make the steps. So I'm grateful for that. And of course, as always, I'm grateful for my family. Thank you, guys.
Great timing. Sparky.
Oh yeah. Hi. So I start right now, huh? Okay, so I'm 80 years young. They call me, my first and last name are Helise, like Helen Ice, Bridges, like a bridge builder, but everybody calls me Grandma Sparky. I'm 5 feet tall, and I'm adorable and powerful and unstoppable grandma that changes the lives of children all over the world. Children, the child inside of us all. My vision is that every person knows that who they are makes a difference, and that dreams really do come true when we work together in unity. I am called the First Lady of Acknowledgement. I'm the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide, and let's see, I'm a TEDx presenter, an international speaker, trainer, mentor to youth and adult leaders, teen and adult leaders around the world. And let's see, what else am I? And I'm yeah, my work has impacted 50 million and we're in 12 languages. And I am, what else am I? Oh, and I'm a community builder. I have a heart for, I'm not interested in one school, one business, one to train and teach people. I want to impact an entire city or a state, entire country, and that's what we're doing now. So let's see, my successes. I was interviewed by Forbes magazine. I have to read these things. I received the International Women's Day Lifetime Achievement Award this recently. I am, one of my projects for kids has just been approved by the school board in Carlsbad, California. And Hannah, who is my 19-year-old graduate of our Standing Strong Together training, she'll be training 11,000 elementary, middle, and high school kids how to build positive relationships and eradicate bullying and make dreams come true that heal our planet. And with a community outreach to 50,000, that's just one city that I'm working with. I empower and support her, and that's pretty exciting. And we recently met with the chancellor of San Diego Community College System for 100,000 students that our work is going to impact next in 23-24 in the San Diego City, and all the leaders. And my stretch is, my intention is to impact 1 billion people and making 1 billion dreams come true that teach kids how to heal our planet in 60 seconds or less. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get more out. I'm a keynote speaker, but I haven't done that in a while. I want to be more out on major stages right now. And I want to meet with PTA leaders around the world. Thank you for 2 minutes. And my stretch is, let's see, my children's book, Sparky and the Magic Blue Ribbon, is written. It's being graphically designed right now, and I'm going to test it out with at a library. I'm going to be reading in a storybook, and just to see how get the feedback and see what works and what could be improved. And let's see what else. And then yeah, and so to fund our Carlsbad program is $50,000. It's $1 per person impacted. And to publish my children's book. Okay, so reaching out to a best publisher. And my gratitude is, so that's I guess my ask is that if anyone wants to train with me, it's like Ryan graduated Standing Strong Together. I am interested in you contacting me or nominating someone that you feel is a leader of leaders that I can talk to and see if and vet and see if they would make good quality for our next training, which starts March 15th. And my gratitude is I've got COVID right now, and I've got a good doctor, and I'm healthy. I'm getting healthier, and I'm proud of myself for just doing whatever I need. And I'm grateful that I take a lot of soup. I'm grateful for my 5 grandkids, and that I'm prosperous, and I live in the moment, and I got a great smile, and I'm grateful for all that.
You're brilliant. Thank you, Sparks.
Thank you.
Marcel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcel Harris, for those who don't know me. And I basically have a background in all things creative and entertainment. So I own a subscription-based graphic design company. I manage performers, so Circus Soleil performers for private and corporate events. I'm also a specialty act performer. I'm a sway pole acrobat. Little bit of a serial entrepreneur of sorts and jack of all trades. So I also work in the event space and hosting people for events, some property management, consulting. I have a women's fashion company, online fashion company geared towards helping. Thank you. Somewhere. I have an online women's fashion company geared towards helping uplift the vibration of women and helping their mental health and just encouraging personal development. It's okay. Sorry, my chef is telling me that the food's ready. So that's a little bit about who I am. My purpose in this world is to help people become better today than they were yesterday. So everything that I do kind of stems from that. And the big heart and giving is just what can I do today to help someone become better tomorrow or today. And getting into my challenge here, I have a client that I'm working with, and we have a multi-million-dollar property in Clearwater that we're looking to sell. So my challenge is bringing in a buyer for that. I'm thinking that we need someone from overseas, maybe from Saudi Arabia or Asia or something like that. So a challenge is putting out the feelers and the outreach and bringing in a buyer for that property. And I guess my ask would kind of piggyback off of that. If anyone has any leads of anyone who may be interested in a property in Clearwater, it's really a billionaire's compound, 5.6 acres, about 20 bedrooms, about 20 bathrooms across the entire thing. There's 3 houses or units on the property, and it's waterfront. So it's an amazing, amazing, one of a kind historic property. So if anyone has any leads on that, let me know. We also have a property that we just acquired yesterday in Colombia that's a 7-bedroom mansion. So if anybody has any friends or anyone that comes to Colombia and needs a place to stay that needs a 7-bedroom plus place, keep me in mind, say you know someone, and maybe we can work something out for that. My stretch goal is to onboard my new team of VAs. So I have a new system that I'm putting in place for virtual assistants for myself and for some of the people that I'm working with. And I'm really excited about it. It basically everything from vetting them to training them, making sure that they have the right kind of mindset coming in. I keep finding out that that's a missing part in the marketplace is finding good people and training good people and keeping good people. So I'm hoping to start filling that little void for myself and my clients. My aim is to continue being someone of value, remaining humble and being of service to those around me. Gratitude is I'm grateful for family, opportunities, all of you guys, grateful for Ryan, grateful for the connections that I have, being blessed. I'm like at one of the best mansions in Medellin right now. I've been extremely blessed from where I started to ending up here. So that's my gratitude. How much time do I have left, Ryan?
42 seconds.
42 seconds. So I just want to use that to shower you guys with love. Thank you for being here, for making the time for this. It's really important that people take the time to grow themselves, and it really shows a lot for you guys to be here. A quote is, you can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. So thank you guys for showing up. And I'll leave you with that.
Thank you, Marcel. Sabrina.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sabrina Stowe Geraldino. I am an entrepreneur. I've worked in the media business and owned companies for over 30 years now. I'm currently a content and copy editor, fact-checking, proofreading for Drew Barrymore, her magazine, Drew Mag. I'm also a contributor. I think this week or tomorrow, my first Drew's News article will hit the newsstand. So that'll be my first debut with Drew actually as a writer. So I do that. I own a men's professional soccer team. I'm a partner with my husband on that. And we've been doing that since 2017. Never played soccer, knew nothing about soccer, but fell in love with it. And I love business. So I handle a lot of the operation side of it. And I'm a television star because I'm just a star. Then I'm getting back into television, so I found out. And that's just who I am, entertainment. Since I was 5 years old, I've been in acting, dance, broadcasting. So that's my passion, and I'm sticking with it. My ask today, well, wait, let me go back to one. I started a new project called Honesty on Demand. And today my ask is that you guys follow me on Instagram, and it is at Honestea, which is spelled HONESTEA _on demand, because I will debut my first episode within a week. So I'm really excited. I've been, I'm asking for you guys to support that endeavor. My goal is to basically get back on TV. I've been, through the laws of attraction, like channeling my casting director from ITV, and lo and behold, she reached out yesterday. And so I'm planning to do something about that with her. I'm also looking to start a sports and entertainment committee for the city of Bayonne. I've talked with the mayor yesterday, and that's something he didn't think of. And so he's interested in doing that. My aim is to stay focused on my personal projects, because as an entrepreneur, I'm usually giving and pouring into other people. So I'd like to do more for myself, especially at my age. When I pass away at 101, I want you guys to say like what I did for myself besides what I've done for others. And I will also my aim is to also work on my social media skills. I'm a continuing education type person. I'm grateful for Sarah, who has made my life so much easier. She's already been working on my podcast. She's created my logo. Like, she takes great direction. So I'm so grateful for her. And if you guys ever need any help, I think she's a perfect go-to girl. My challenge is I don't really have challenges. I overcome them. I don't like to focus on like what a challenge is. So my challenge is to never have a challenge. How about that? And to just stay positive and not let any negative vibes like vibrate high every day, and not, get distracted by any other vibrations that are around me. So to stay, have a shield of protection around me so that I don't react to anything. So that's it about me. Thank you for my time. And I'm grateful for Ryan to host this every Thursday for us.
Thank you, Sabrina. Guess that's my turn. So listening to everyone, and I feel this every Thursday, I am just totally blessed by the people in my life. And that is my gratitude to start. My aim goes back about 9 months ago when I stuck a stake in the ground and said, I'm surrounding myself with people whom I can give to and receive from, who have the same energy that I have, to do what Timmy said, which is, use our gifts as entrepreneurs in creating a better planet. And my gratitude is for you guys. This every Thursday, it's not the same group every Thursday, and yet there's tremendous people that get to connect here. I also have gratitude for the offline connections that happen. So, Sabrina, Sarah connecting, doing some work together, that's brilliant. I have gratitude for people who respond to the asks on a weekly basis. Even go as far as making a phone call to really pour into someone. I have gratitude for the hot seats, for which we have one today, because it's our opportunities to pour in and channel and help someone in a really significant way. I have had the benefit of being in hot seats in the past, and they've really impacted my life, and that's part of the reason why we're all here today. I also love being able to pour into people and just give my thoughts, for which probably a lot of it doesn't stick, but some of it may. I'm grateful too that, oddly enough, Sarah's challenge right now is a kid's book, and we happened to have Timmy here today, which was not planned, as well as Sparky, who's working on her own kid's book right now. So I think those serendipitous situations are beautiful. My challenge is this group today. I had 12 brilliant individuals who were joining us, and we ended up with 7. And so the beautiful challenge I have is is that we have 7. So that's a beautiful challenge. I took some time to go out to took a trip to Lady of Fatima Basilica a few days ago out here in Portugal with Katrina, and that was an amazing experience. My grandmother and my great aunt always prayed to Our Lady of Fatima, and so to be able to experience that was special. It actually had the same energy level, Sparky, as Mount Shasta, you know, which is unique. Also special to see my girlfriend on, you know, on her at the altar, deep in prayer and meditation. You know, I'm super grateful to have her in my life and what she values. Also was able to go to the archives and find my great grandfather's birth certificate. So you never know, I might be a European citizen one day, but I also have the ability to share that with my grandmother and the rest of my family. Had an amazing call with gentleman Mark Anthony Bates, who has become a great mentor of mine, poured into us a few weeks ago. I was up at 2:30 last night, and he was just giving me all his feedback, and we have an opportunity to help big company get acquired, and so there's an opportunity for me to broker that deal, which is unique. He said it's an FGO, a freaking great opportunity. This isn't a networking group, it's more of idea share, and it becomes a family. However, I'm grateful that people are networking here. My stretch goal is to have a great set us up over the next 2 days for a great trip to Thailand. Katrina sent me some beautiful hotels that are in budget, and yeah, so make sure we have that, you know, special time all prepared for us before it's too late. And my ask is to jump on a call with me after this and you know, let me help you with your asks, and also I'd love to learn more about your life, you know, what's going on. I appreciate you guys coming in today. It was nice to see Timmy and Sparky join us this week. And that's it for me. I think my final ask right now is we're actually going to end up wrapping up a little bit earlier than planned today. So my ask is that you guys go do what you gotta do, and we come back at 10 for Sarah's hot seat. And so let's pour into her, and we'll wrap up about 25 minutes before planned. So we'll see you guys in 15.
So I say goodbye now?
You just know, we'll see you in 15 minutes. You just
Oh, that's what I meant. I meant that. I just say goodbye now for a minute.
yeah, we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Do we exit Zoom and come back in, or how?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How you do this? What I don't
I
understand.
see what everybody else is doing. That's fine.
Yeah, you can just mute up. I mean, you could keep talking, you know. Usually we have more people here, so it's time to do a bathroom break or have a coffee, or, you know.
I am gonna go pour myself a coffee.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, okay, I get it. Okay, like that.
How amazing are you, Sparky? You have COVID and you showed up today.
I know. I'm in the chilly. I'm very cold, and I only have the chills. Isn't that wonderful? This is my second COVID, so I'm better than most people. You know, I don't have the coughing and the sneezing and the headache, and I'm just very cold. So
Yeah.
I'm under a lot of covers right now.
Is it cold in California right now?
No, it's raining, yes, but it's just the inner chills with the COVID is just like all through my body, like little needles. You know, it's very, very, very cold. You can't get warm. There's not enough warm to get warm. But I'm almost gonna be over this on Sunday, I think, and then wear the mask for 5 days and not be able to go to any place that I'm supposed to. Well, what can you do? It is what it is.
You can't
Timmy,
go to the gym for a few days.
yeah, so Timmy, hi.
Hey, what's up?
Oh man, it's
You
great
seem
to
like a
be.
great person, Sparky.
Oh yeah, I am.
Ryan, you're in Portugal?
Yeah, in Lisbon.
I didn't realize that. What you were talking about earlier about looking up your grandpa's records? I did that with I'm a German citizen now. I did the whole thing that Sabrina was talking about.
Wow.
Where you basically just take the birth certificate of one of your direct relatives, like direct that you're a descendant of, and you take it to an embassy, and it takes a really long time. Like the paperwork takes forever, but you can end up being a citizen of another country.
How long the paper?
Ah,
It took 8 months for me.
Oh, that's not that bad. And were you your own attorney?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't need an attorney. I literally just went to the embassy with all the paperwork that I had on my parents and their parents.
It's a German
so
embassy in the United States.
Yep,
is that
yep, in Miami.
is that a dual citizenship or?
So the thing about dual citizenship is, to my knowledge, it's not
Mhm.
like it's not recognized. Like so Germany recognizes me as a German citizen, and the US recognizes me as a US citizen. And when I
Right.
walk into another country, I can choose which I want to present.
Oh wow.
But to the US, they're like, you're only a US citizen to us. You're nothing else. And same thing for Germany.
So it matters where you go. And so this is fascinating to me. And how did you get to Portugal, Ryan? Is that Portugal? Did you go? Where
Yeah,
are
so
you?
we just have it is Portugal, and we just have the we have a 3 month long Schengen visa, which you don't have to apply for, but you're able to
Right.
spend 3 months in European countries. So
And what brought you there? And by the way, I put in the thing about Thailand. Two of my graduates of Standing Strong Together are doctors. They're in their 30s. They're gorgeous. They're authors. They're phenomenal people, and they're from Thailand. They live in the States, but they're got a lot of contacts for you if you'd like. I you'd be salivating to meet these women. They're gorgeous,
yeah.
and one's an author. You never know if they want to come on board and with us and all like that. I'll make that contact. How about that?
Yeah, I love talking to people for sure, especially people you refer. You've got a great network of, just generally kind humans.
Do you get to be in business there, or I mean, what? I don't get it. What it
This
is?
is my business now. This is my full-time thing. I just had, like I said, like 9 months ago, I started a business. It didn't have a product, but it was called RW Macro because I believe what's most important are the people that you spend your time with. And yeah, I realized I'd been in several masterminds. I'd been in Pat Carney's mastermind.
Right.
And it was so brilliant. So I was like, I'm just gonna take this, which has been in place for 40 years, and see who wants to hang out every Thursday and go from there. So yeah, it's been great. I've been reconnecting with brilliant people like you six. So yeah, it's all work.
It's exciting for me to see you guys together. They were at my home for a long time. Ryan filmed me for 2 straight days at my house, and
What
we're
was he
posting.
filming you doing?
He was what'd you say, Timmy?
What was he filming you doing?
He was just asking me bunches of questions so that we had GoFundMe, and so we're doing these little 30-second, 15-second little bits, and to put on social media
Yeah.
to
Hitting
draw.
reels.
Yeah. So it was a blast, wasn't it? A blast? Didn't we have a great time?
It was a blast. And I want to talk to you about it. That's why my ask was to connect with you guys after. I want to talk to you
Mhm.
about that project.
Okay, I will talk to you.
All right, I'm
And
gonna take my 9-minute break, guys.
all
Do
right.
it.
Okay, we should do that. We should
Okay.
do the break.
All right.
Okay, this has been lovely. Okay,
Yeah, same.
I'll do the break too. Okay,
All right.
got it.
Ryan,
1 minute, guys. What's up, Sabrina?
you can absolutely get your EU citizenship. You said your grandfather,
Great grandfather.
your great grandfather, you just take that document and go to an immigration attorney and they'll give it to you in Portugal, especially. Are you mean in Portugal or Ireland? Like both of those two countries, Portugal, Ireland, England, Spain. You just need a grandparent. And in a lot of cases, they don't look at a great grandparent as far removed. So go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What are yours?
Let's go,
Yours-
Ryan.
right?
You gotta practice your Portuguese now.
Start.
Fala português. Yeah, I could get English, even though I could get British, I can get Scottish, I can get Ireland. But Portuguese is too far for me to just get it, but they don't do golden visas there anymore. They're stopping that. I just read that yesterday. So I could just buy a piece of property. I'm retiring there.
All right. Well, we got to jump back in now. So this is the next portion, my favorite portion of the mastermind. And so today, Sarah will be on the hot seat. And Sarah sent an email off to everyone last night. She will be sharing about her project with her children's book. The purpose of the hot seat is to pour into Sarah whatever ideas that we have. The hot seat doesn't end early. So feel free to keep sharing as much as you think may make sense. I like something that Greg Reed says, which is he has that hand in the sand mentality. Sarah will take what fits for Sarah, and the rest will drop off. And we have no idea what will fit for Sarah and what won't fit for Sarah. I remember one time I was telling this brilliant business owner who's been in business for decades and has a great business coach. I said, you need a new business coach. That was part of my feedback. And the next week in her follow-up hot seat, she says, okay, I need a marketing coach. What are your suggestions? So you just never know what will stick. You never know, what experience you have that may be valuable to someone else. And so Sarah, let's get rocking. So Sarah,
All right.
share for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll have 5 to 10 minutes of clarifying questions where we have the opportunity to get clear on what Sarah's looking to achieve. And then we will have about 30 minutes where we deliver feedback, which is about 5 minutes each. So go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you, Ryan. First of all, I'm super grateful for this opportunity. I've seen a few people be on the hot seat, and I didn't think I would actually be on the hot seat that soon. But Ryan reached out, and at first I was like, Ryan, I don't really think I have much to share at this point. I'm still working on projects, and as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm sort of redoing my entire business model and what I want to be working on in the future. So I never really thought about that, but I had spoken to Ryan about my children's book before, and he said to me, well, why don't you talk about that? So since Ryan did that, number one thing it allowed me to do is it allowed me to organize my thoughts more clearly around it, and so that I can share it with you all and get some feedback. So I'll kind of give you a little bit of a backstory because I tend to speak really fast. So I'll try to give you a little bit of context around my why around this and why it is that I want to write a children's book. So I've been an avid fan of writing more than reading, actually. Reading has been more of a hobby of mine in my adulthood. But I've always liked writing and I've always enjoyed that. As a kid, I used to journal. And for me, journaling is a great way. It's the same way your stomach digests food. I believe that writing and journaling digests emotions and thoughts. So I love that. I think I've got a really good relationship with writing. When I don't write, I don't feel well. When I write, I feel great. And even when I don't feel well and I write, I end up feeling great about not feeling well. if that makes sense. So I do have certain topics and titles that I want to write in the future for adults, but those are my 20 and 30-year goals. For now, I would love to put my creativity that I have into children's books. For those of you who don't know me or facts about me or things about me, I speak fluently English sometimes, French, Arabic, and I'm semi-fluent. I would consider myself in Spanish, and I love languages. So for me, languages are another part of my being that I absolutely love. The more I can learn, the happier I will be. Another fun fact about me, get to know Sarah session, is that I have extremely detailed and vivid dreams. And those happen to me very often, not so much when I'm in Dubai for some reason, but when I'm in Canada, I have extremely vivid dreams. And I often dream of things that don't exist in real life. I often dream of imaginary, dragons and dinosaurs flying around, and I join them on the journey. So I like to think that that part of me also is a creative part. So what I would like to do, or what I have done already, is uh, I would like to write children's books that focus on a few things that other children's books don't focus maybe so much on, or maybe I have not been as exposed to them. I have two nephews now, a 2.5-year-old nephew and an 8 months nephew. And when I read to them, I'm either bored from reading, like the book bores me, or it's just, it is what it is, and I flip through the pages to get through it, and that's about it. And my nephews are growing up to speak English, French, and Arabic. That's kind of like what we do in Lebanese households. You don't grow up with just one language. So my intention behind these books is a few things. One is to make it a bilingual book. I would like to first start by targeting the US market and making it an English and Spanish book. And what I mean by that is I used to have a book when I was about 14 years old. It wasn't illustrated, it was an actual book. But when you open the book, on one page you've got English and on the other page you've got Spanish. And I remember it helped me so much to improve my Spanish, because I would read the English or I would read the Spanish and I'd be like, "Oh wait, what does that word mean?" And it wasn't always the same line um for each language, but it was close enough, and it allowed me to improve my Spanish vocab. So I would like to do that for a children's book. I would like to create bilingual books to start with English and Spanish, eventually English and Arabic, because that's used in Dubai a lot, or in Saudi Arabia, English and French, whatever the combination is, that's a later thought. And to have them on the same book. So when you open a book, I want the illustration to be on the both pages to tell the one story, but on one side you've got the English version telling the story, and on the right side you've got the Spanish version telling the story. So my thought is that for that kind of book to happen, I'm thinking it would have to be for the ages around 5 to 8 years old. And I'm interested in writing books. So I loved what Timmy said, and I love what you're doing about around entrepreneurships and things like that. I I like that sort of thought, that pathway. What I would like to more focus on for myself, I think, is taking books that I truly enjoy reading as an adult, nonfiction books, and making those into children's books. And not so much on entrepreneurship, but more on awareness, emotional intelligence, um, kindness, consciousness, subconsciousness. And I know those are big topics, and they're even big topics for adults, but I do truly believe that kids are super smart, and they can understand things like financial literacy, and they can understand things like the kind words you speak to yourself, and how you speak to yourself affects who you become and who you are. So that's sort of where my mind goes to when I want to write these children's books. I don't want to write books that are just a fun story, because those were never books that I read, which it's not fair to say, but that's exactly the reason why I don't read fiction books, because I don't want to just read a book about like a guy falling in love with a girl. Like, I don't care personally. And I'm not generalizing. Obviously, some fiction books have a lot of content to them. It's just not my jam. And I think, in the future, if I'm blessed ever with kids, that's the kind of books that I would want to read to my kids, something that teaches them about kindness. And I know Dr. Wayne Dyer writes a lot of books like that, but I want to do it a little bit differently. I love the style of fables or parables, whatever word you prefer. Which, if anybody's not familiar with it, it's pretty much like using two fictitious characters to teach a lesson. So I really enjoy that. I've already written what I consider a rough draft of my first book. I'm looking, so when I look at books and writing books, I literally know nothing about writing books, if I'm being honest. So I don't quite know. I'm very good. If you were to tell me like set up an operation somewhere, I could tell you we need to first sign NDAs, we need to look at your structure, we need to do this and that. I don't know what those steps are in the book writing world. I don't know if I would imagine there's some sort of an NDA when you're sharing your story with illustrators or something, because I don't know, somebody could just take your book. I'm not really sure. But those are some things that I'm working through figuring out. Something really fun that I've done since having this chat with Ryan was I actually used Chat GPT. And if you're like anti AI, don't attack me, but it is super fascinating and amazing. So I started with talking to Chat GPT, and I've been using Chat GPT for a while since it came out, but I was like, hey, why don't I use it for my children's book? Like maybe this can help me. So I asked it, like, can you help me improve my children's book? And it goes, yeah, for sure. And it gives you suggestions. So at the end, I ended up copy pasting my very rough draft into Chat GPT, and it gave me suggestions of things that I had never thought about before, particularly because I've never written a children's book and I haven't read enough yet either. So it gave me tips like how I have to use more sensory informations and describe things in bigger detail and create more stable or solid relationships of the characters between each other so that it sticks to the children's minds when they're reading it, so that there's actual context. So I thought some of what it gave me as information was quite useful. So I re-edited my draft once again and again. And I think since talking to Ryan, I've probably done like 10 edits, and I'm sure it can take another 10. But I'm at a point now where I tend to be an overthinker for sure. And I'm at a point where I know that I would like to publish the first book myself. And I only know that just because I want to play around with it and I want the full liberty to do that. And perhaps part of it is being ignorant of what restrictions a publisher might or might not put on you. But for now, this is sort of my goal is to publish it even if it's a digital book. I'm not necessarily looking to make prints as the first book. I'm still not sure about that decision. I'm kind of keep going back and forth around it. And so yeah, that's pretty much the summary of what I'm looking to do. Moving forward, I have a few more ideas of what I would like other books to be. Timmy, I checked out your website quickly to see what it is that you do, and I don't know if that I understood fully yet what you do, but I'm assuming that you kind of mentioned that you get authors to write their story in the way of in a children's book sort of situation. So the idea that I had was not so much to approach authors like that, but to approach them in a different way for myself. I have a few authors that I hold dear to my heart and that I have a good connection with. One of which, I don't know, I have a feeling Ryan is eventually gonna bring her on for maybe to be a speaker. He asked me about her last week. So she has a book about financial literacy, and my idea would be to take these books that I've already read, that I've already digested, and not take the entire book, but just take one idea of the book and make it into a children's book. As in, I literally write it. I'm the creative, I'm the everything behind it. They just have the like, hey, yeah, this was based on your book, and let's be partners with it around it. So I don't want to give up that I don't want to give up the creative. I don't want them like I love what you're doing to me because I think there's a lot of people that need that. But I'm seeing it almost as a continuing end of the other spectrum of people that might be approached by somebody like me that says, hey, I've read your book. I love your book. I love this. I one idea in your book, and I've come up with a whole like story in my head about how you can teach this lesson to a kid. And this is the book. This is what the illustrations would look like. You want to partner on it or not? So the more I move forward in my career, the more I'm interested in doing partnerships rather than working for people or you know. So that's sort of where my head is at. I'd love any feedback from y'all.
Great.
Hopefully I didn't go too
No,
much above time.
you have 3 minutes. I just want to make sure we have time for questions. So
All right,
again,
so
raise your
I'll-
hand down below with the reactions for questions for Sarah. Is someone raising it? Marcel.
Marcel.
Hello. I don't think I have any questions, but I have a bunch of notes that I took as you were speaking, so I'm kind of just gonna go through them.
Here, let's do questions first, Marcel.
Okay, well
I'll
then
hit you in 2 minutes.
let me put myself back in the background then. I think okay.
All right, Katrina.
I never read the book and I don't know much about it, but my question is, can you please tell us what is it in the process of this book? What is it you have done already, and what are the next 3 steps that you have to take?
Absolutely. So I've already in my mind written my book. So it's probably not complete as in ready to be published, but it needs a few more edits. I think my story is quite complete. I don't know if you wanted details on the story, but it's the first one. I'll just give you the kind of topic. It's about self-care. Both, and sorry, one thing that you brought up, Katrina, that reminded me to mention now is that my books, I want them to be based in some sort of real facts, as in either one piece of scientific information, like actual scientific information or facts about something. So my first story incorporates flamingos, and I use actual scientific facts about flamingos because I also want when the parent reads it by the end of the book that if it was like if they read their story to their kid and they didn't get anything out of it other than self-care and like a few fun facts about flamingos, I don't know, they can use it on trivia night or something like that, right? And because it will be a bilingual book, the parent can also improve one of the languages if need be. So I'm at the step right now where I have written it. As far as I'm concerned, I need to do the translation to Spanish, but I don't want to do that until I finalize my English section. The translation in Spanish, I can do most of it. I think my Spanish is decent enough to do that, or I can acquire the help of some people that I know to help me better it. My aunt is fluent in Spanish. She's from Venezuela, so she can help me with things like that. And then my next steps would be to get an illustrator. So first finalize the draft, get an illustrator, and actually figure out how I'm gonna distribute this thing.
All right, thanks, Sarah. 1 minute each, guys. Sparky.
I just want to ask you, what's the brand that you want to have consistent with all your books? What are you standing for so that I have a clarity about you as an author?
All right. That's a great question and something for me to think more about, I think. Definitely, I want all my books to be bilingual, not particularly Spanish and English, but bilingual. All my books will have 2 languages. All my books will be related to I don't want to say a relevant topic, but something that is, I don't even want to use the word useful because some may find fiction books and creativity useful. So, but a topic that I enjoy, and I know that's kind of vague, but maybe self-care, consciousness, subconsciousness, kindness, emotional intelligence, that sort of thing. I love what Gary V has done. I don't know if you guys are focused at all on his V Friends, but I think it's genius, and I love that stuff, and I've got a V Friend myself, so I love that stuff, and I love that mentality and that thought. So I think that's where I want my brand to go to. Success is more than just making money. Life is more than just having a big business and a million friends. It's about having a few really good friends and support system. So that's kind of where my brand is. But thank you for that question, Grandma Sparky. I'll write it down and I'll need to think more about that, I think.
Yeah, good for you. I'm good.
Thank you, Sparks. Marcel, question?
I'm just curious if you have, let's say, market tested any of your stories, or maybe one of them, perhaps with one of your family members, and if you have, what kind of reaction or have you received from them or feedback?
Great question, Marcel. My mom was telling me, why don't you test it out with your nephew? And I was like, Mom, he's 2.5. He's not gonna enjoy something with no illustrations. So I do think I need to do that for sure. I have not done that though. Unfortunately, I don't have any other like nephews or young cousins around me right now. I want somebody in that kind of age group. So maybe once I do have it, I'll reach out to friends of mine that have kids around the age of 5 to 8 and see if they like it before I go full through with it for sure. Uh, Honestly speaking, and I don't know if this sounds selfish or egotistical, and I hope it doesn't, but if they don't like it, like I know my kids will in the future, my unborn kids, because they'll be kind of like me. So I don't, and I know my nephews will kind of like the idea of it. So I'm not too worried about the entire population liking it. I think if it's a good product coming from a good heart, hopefully it's going to be there for a good cause. And even if one person or my one nephew or niece or something in the future reads it, that would make me happy enough, I think.
All right, we're at time. All right, so time for feedback. We have 25 to 30 minutes. So I will start things off again, same process, just raise your hand and let's pour into Sarah. So Sarah, Sparky asked a question about community building brand, or I'm sorry, about your brand. I believe that your brand is community building. I think your brand centers around oneness. It centers around empathy, diving deep into someone's dreams. And I think you have an opportunity to do that by practicing with story time. I think that I see you on social media potentially leveraging it for good and sharing with the people in your network who all love you that you're having story times. And so get on a virtual Zoom, make it easy for them to say yes, and read stories to whomever's kids are between the ages of 2 and 4, and just try it. And if it doesn't work virtually, then find a way to get into schools so you could try it. I do think that by you being in touch with the end user, it'll grow your passion just like this did. It'll accelerate your book in your process, and you'll become more in love with the process as well. Sparky.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, Sarah, thanks for loving writing and just giving it your all. I offer this suggestion. I am testing out my book right now. I think it's good. I send it out to other people to read and get feedback. And I say, tell me what works, what needs to be improved. Do you love it? What just anything about any word that I use that doesn't land right. But also I rented a room at our local library, and I've contacted all the PTA, Parent Teachers Associations, and contacts to share the book and say, come, it's my storybook. And I want just your feedback. It's in paper now. It's not, it's certainly not finished. It'll be graphically designed, but I just want to see if they like it. And then I'm going to give them an opportunity to pre-sell the book for when it goes out in the fall. So that's my thought about something that you might be able to do. Also, when you talk about kindness and all other books, there is you might check it out. Go on Google and because there's a lot of celebrities right now talking about forgiveness, talking about kindness, talking about love, talking about lots of this, and get their feedback because I've gone to the library and I've done a lot of research on this. So you might just check that out just to tuck that in, is those might be your partners.
Thank you, Sparky. Timmy.
Welcome.
So Sarah, I love what you're doing. Oh, let me lower my hand. Okay, so I do a terrible job of not leading with why when I talk. Like I always want to jump straight to strategy. So let me just say this. I love what you're doing, especially as a person who regularly performs in front of kids books. I want to basically, like, I want to help you in any way that I can, because ultimately what you're doing is something that I want to get behind. But one of the worst feelings for me is when I meet somebody that's a new kids book author and they show me their stuff and I can't honestly be like, yeah, I would love to perform this in front of kids. Oh shoot, so sorry guys. Because maybe it's lacking something. So I want to make sure that I can help you in any way that you can with some of your questions. So some of the questions that I heard that you asked were like, I don't know about NDA. I don't know about anything. So I'll just tell you some of the basic answers to some of the questions that I get asked, and I also just want to make sure that I'm helpful in any way that I can be. But no, you don't need to send an NDA to an illustrator. If you're working with a professional illustrator, the NDA is kind of just like a superfluous cautionary measure. It's not like it's a wrong thing to do, but generally speaking, you don't have to worry about somebody running off with your work. It's just not really a thing that in this world people like any illustrator worth their salt would not sabotage their career like that. So that's not something that you have to worry about. As it relates to like, well, how do I secure the right to my work? Under US copyright law, you own the right to your work the moment you publish it, or the moment that you actually the moment that you put it in the form of a piece of media. So there's like a cheap poor man's copyright where you literally just mail yourself your work, and then you don't open the letter. So you've got proof that you made it, and it's date stamped because you mailed it to yourself. I did that with my first book, Billy the Dragon, because my parents were really concerned about all of this. And then as I've gotten more into this world, I've realized that's actually just not something that you really have to be concerned about. The biggest thing that I would want to encourage you to focus on is something that everybody's been saying, and that's testing your work in front of kids. I would test your work in front of kids even though you don't have illustrations, if I were you. And I actually have done this. Like I've literally like just texted people that I know that have kids that are in the right age group and said, hey, can I jump on a Zoom call with your kids? I know this sounds really weird, but can I jump on a Zoom call with your kids? I want to present my manuscript to them and get their feedback because they're right in the age group. And even though it sounds weird, it's super flattering for the person who gets that text message. And then I jump on a Zoom call and I'm basically just describing them the illustrations. Or maybe I did like a really stick figure-y storyboard. And I'm like, now on this page, this is what's happening. What do you think about this joke? Does this joke land? Like, I'm literally asking those questions to 8-year-olds. So super encourage you to do that. Yeah, okay, that's just some of the stuff that immediately jumps to my head.
Thanks, Timmy. And yeah, feel free to keep the thoughts rolling. Marcel.
Okay, let me kind of go through my notes here. So one of my notes, I'll just kind of start from the top here, is to consider Pixar. So I have a master's degree in film production. One of the things that I fell in love with as far as storytelling in general, and the reason why I'm a graphic designer is because storytelling is powerful. You can build an empire with this story and you can tear one down with this story. And one thing that I love about Pixar that they do really well is they can take you on a full emotional journey with just shapes like circles and squares and triangles and sound. And in some cases, you don't even need the sound. So from there, think about the hero's journey and the elements of a good story. Elements for the hero's journey being introducing your character, they run into a challenge, and then they somehow overcome the challenge, and then there's some kind of a resolution, which would be like the lesson learned and things like that. Disney does this really well. Keep moving forward. Like they always have a positive message in everything that they do, if you really pay attention to it. The next thing, my next note would be character building. Another thing that I got from my, my master's degree is for every single character that I create in a manuscript or for, a movie and things like that, I create a Pinterest board and basically build the character. So what are the skeletons in the closet? What excites them? What do they eat when they wake up in the morning? Like get really in depth on your characters because that's who the children essentially will relate to, and even parents, because even though you're making books for children, like there are adults who connect with children's books, like Dora the Explorer. There are grown kids and adults who love Dora the Explorer, So think about building out your characters in that aspect. Like, what is their motivation, their driving force? Like, what are they scared of? Like, really get deep into who your characters are, because that'll help with your storytelling. And now you're creating a brand, and like kids would want to have the toy and things like that, versus like, oh, here's a story about personal development. It's like, cool, here's a lesson. And then they forget about it, or build a character, build your characters so that even the villains or whatever the case is, so they all have a message. So that's my challenge for you, is creating relatable characters of depth. Yeah, Pixar full emotional journey. Stories are powerful, relatable. Illustrations are important to an extent, but first you do want to make sure that you can get your message across without them. So also consider how there's different types of learners. I think there's 4: audio aesthetic, kinesthetic, visual. There may be another one that I'm missing, but just think about the people. There's some learners that learn from seeing things. There's some that learn from hearing things. There's some that learn from doing. So with that, maybe a stretch goal for you is considering transforming your book or your idea into a sort of game, or having action steps in your book, which I love about a lot of personal development books, is they actually have activities included in the book, so that you can retain the information or the previous chapter. So it doesn't just go through a full story, but it goes through the first chapter, then it has some kind of like test or check-in. Okay, here's a fun thing to do. So consider that, and something that'll be fun for kids to kind of, engage with your books. And the next one I think is, superheroes. Just giving kids with your characters someone to look up to, and the things that they like. Kids always want to be like someone that they see, and they kind of soak things in like a sponge that way. So just really driving home the idea of honing in on your characters and what they're about. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Marcel. Timmy.
Thought of a couple more things while Marcel was talking. So Sarah, just a couple of notes. One is the thing that you were talking about picking a major topic that a nonfiction book that you like is about, and translating that into a kid's book. So this is something that we do as well at Dinosaur House. This is like what we do all the time. We call it the controlling idea. So we're looking for the controlling idea of either the big business book that we're turning into a kid's book, or just the person that we're working with. So we'll take on a customer. I do what's called a story design call with them, where I ask them a bunch of story design questions. And one of the first things that I'm trying to get at is, what is the controlling idea of their book? So one way to know what the controlling idea of your book is, there's actually 2 questions that I'll ask to get at a controlling idea, but I'm curious which one is going to land better for you. One of them is, what is something that you know that if kids would just understand this, it will change the trajectory of their life? So what is this idea, this thought, that if kids would just latch onto it, it's going to change the trajectory of their life? Whatever the answer to that question is, let's say you're writing about generosity, right? So for me, it's like giving leads to wealth. Like if I could just get kids to understand that generosity leads to wealth, it will change the trajectory of their life. So that's my controlling idea. Generosity leads to wealth. The other question that I'll ask is, what is something related to this topic? So whatever the topic is, maybe the topic is generosity. What's something related to this topic that you have to say about it that is unique and different? You don't hear other people saying it, but when you say it to people, they go, oh my gosh, yes. Whatever the answer to that is, that may be your controlling idea. So I love asking that question to people. So anyway, so that's getting at the controlling idea. Then I ask questions that will help me form a hero's journey, like Marcel was talking about. So here are some of the hero's journey development questions off of a controlling idea. So one of them is, what is the opposite of your controlling idea? So if generosity leads to wealth, the opposite of that is hoarding leads to poverty, right? So the opposite of my idea is that hoarding leads to poverty. And then I'll ask, what's dangerous, painful, or frustrating about living opposite to your theme? So what's dangerous, painful about, or frustrating about living as a hoarder, right? And I'm just going to start elaborating on all of that, because that's going to help me build the world that the hero is trying to escape from when they plunge into chaos, because that's the hero's journey. They make a choice to go into chaos because they're trying to leave the world that they are tired of, right? And then I'll ask, what's dangerous, painful, or frustrating about living according to your theme? What's dangerous, painful, or frustrating about living according to the idea that generosity leads to wealth? And we really want to flesh that out, because that's going to give us the chaos that they have entered into when they made the choice to go into chaos. And then I ask, why is it worthwhile anyways? That gives us how they emerge from the chaos, having been changed. They've understood that it's worthwhile to live like generosity leads to wealth. And we flesh that out in the story design call by asking, why is it worthwhile anyways? So that gives us the bones of our hero's journey. But this is another overall idea that I try to tell customers, which is there are two people that you're trying to serve when you make a kid's book. There's the parent who's buying the book, and then there's the kid who is either being forced to read the book or is choosing to read the book over and over and over again. And they have very different motives. The parent who's buying the book and is going to read the book to their kid is going after a theme. I brought Dave Ramsey's book as an example, right? So if you're a Dave Ramsey fan, you're going to buy Dave Ramsey's kids book because, dang it, you want your kids to think like Dave Ramsey when it comes to finances. Now, I personally don't want my kids to think like Dave Ramsey when it comes to finances, but he's just a good example of a bad example. This book has a tremendous theme, but it fails at number 2, which is the second customer that you're trying to please with a kid's book. And the second customer is the kid. And they need to be asking to be read that book over and over and over again, or it wasn't a successful book. So you need to write a book that's addictive to kids, meaning it is filled with the things that would make a kid go, read me that one, and not Captain Underpants or one of these other books that does a great job of appealing to kids. And so the question is, what is appealing to kids? And this is something that in all the kids book creation content that I've consumed, I've never heard anybody talk about. So I've named it reaction triggers. You want to fill your book with reaction triggers. Those are things that are going to cause a physical or verbal reaction in a kid. And if you can fill it with reaction triggers, then it will be an addicting kids book that kids are being asked for over and over and over again. And so there are a bunch of different kinds of reaction triggers. Humor is the biggest one. Like literally, if you have a page spread, and on that page spread, there is not something that's going to cause a physical or verbal reaction in a kid, that is a wasted page spread from the kid's perspective, because they don't give a dang about theme. They're not going to the bookshelf because they're like, I want to learn something today. That's not the kid's motivation. They want to be entertained. So I made a list, and I'm about to release a full-on course on everything that I know about producing a kid's book. We're 3 videos in, and I've got several videos that I'm editing, but along with a bunch of resources. But in that is going to be my list of reaction triggers so far. So some examples are power play, slapstick, body part or body function humor, anything that's gross or disgusting, anything that's bizarre or absolutely silly, self-commentary, so like I've fallen and I can't get up, like a character commenting on themselves, embarrassment, asking questions or call and response in the narration, outburst, literally a character going ah or having an outburst, adorableness, hidden things to find, suspense, spookiness, disaster, peril, getting loud, getting quiet, funny words you're not supposed to say, imitating animals and animal sounds, excessively descriptive details, funny looking characters and funny voices, wild, crazy what if scenarios, things that you physically do with the book, like turn it upside down and something happens to the characters. Those are just a list. So you want to fill your book. You basically figure out the bones of your hero's journey, and then like DreamWorks does in all their movies, you tell it as a series of reaction triggers. So that's my overarching thought on all of this.
Wow. Sabrina, thanks, Timmy.
Hey, all this is pretty good. So I have three strong suggestions that I'd like to make sure I tell you. The first one is the business, right? I published a magazine, a Spanish and English speaking magazine, sold it throughout all supermarkets and Kmart's everywhere all over. So I can definitely give you tips on distribution, as well as editorial work. I can give you some, just like some bullet points on what a book editor would ask or look for when editing a book, so that you'll have some guidance in terms of editing. I also suggest that if you're going to use your aunt, a Venezuelan Spanish speaker, that you need to decide which Spanish you will be using, because some words in Venezuela, Sabrina, whose family's from Cuba, may not know. So you have to think about that for sure. And in terms of the business, you're in operations, right? Always use an NDA, cover your ass. Always use an NDA, because an illustrator may not need it, but sometimes people pass along ideas consciously and unconsciously. So you don't want your ideas to be used by anyone. That NDA always protects you. In terms of copywriting, know where you would like to copyright your work. Copywriting your body of work is about $150. You know, I think you work, so maybe you can do that. Go on your government portal, whether it's Canada or United States, whichever place you would like to do it, and just do it yourself online. You don't need a lawyer. And then you'll get information from international copywriters. Whereas if you want to copyright your work on an international scale, you'll at least have contacts that you could research and see who's the best person, or you can ask Timmy or Marcel, people that, or even Ryan, because this is something that they do. In terms of your book concept, I think it's amazing. I think that the fact that you speak these 3 languages is going to be excellent for kids, but I also would like to see something regarding culture. I would like to see a Jewish and a Muslim friend. I would like to see a Muslim and a Christian friend, child friend, because what we learn as kids, that's where it starts. Kids learn racial discrimination from people at a younger age, or religious discrimination. Teaching people how to live and understand each other's culture helps people understand one another, that we're different and it's okay to be different. So I would love to see something about that. And then maybe, I don't know if Zany Brainies is still a great bookstore.